Hello, I'm John Treadgold for the Finance News Network, and joining me from MLC IncomeBuilder is its Head of Australian Shares Research, Peter Sumner. Peter, welcome to FNN.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Peter, what are the main concerns investors face when looking to grow a tax-efficient income stream?
Well, there's a couple of things. Have they actually saved enough in the beginning? What sort of level of income that they're looking to achieve in the long term? And also whether they're prepared to be exposed to some short-term volatility in order to grow that capital over the long term.
MLC IncomeBuilder strives to grow its income stream. Can you explain how you do this?
Yes, well, we engage with active managers. The managers are investing in shares over the long term, and they focus on a couple of things. They focus on the sustainable earnings of those companies that they're invested into. They're also focusing on the sort of risks that they're actually taking in order to generate those returns. And the other aspect which the managers focus on is the after-tax outcomes. So they focus on dividends that are franked, and also trying to minimise the sort of capital gains which are realised in the portfolio over the long term. And all those things are designed to produce long-term tax-effective returns and long-term tax-effective income for investors.
The fund targets growing high-quality companies. Can you give us some examples and let us know what makes them appeal to you?
Yeah, well, in the recent past, we've seen the banks in particular have been a source of good income and good capital growth. So Westpac, ANZ, CBA, NAB, and these companies have been in dominant positions. They've got good pricing power. They've been able to generate good franked dividends which are distributed, and so that's actually a very attractive feature that our active managers seek on a regular basis. Other companies which the portfolio has invested into are companies like Telstra, and again we've seen that the management changed at Telstra. They've got a clear plan, they haven't overinvested in capital, and they're also paying out sustainable dividends, and in both cases, both banks and Telstra, they're also paying tax, so that allows us to make sure that we're actually receiving franked dividends over the long term, and again that's of great benefit to our retirees and people who are accumulating over the long term.
A number of companies have maintained or increased dividends over the most recent reporting season. Which companies stood out for you?
Look, I think there's a couple, and this is a long-term strategy. We must remember it's not just a one-year strategy. So, for example, Suncorp in the last couple of years has grown its dividend from about 55 cents per share to 75 cents per share. It's also paid some special dividends along the way, and that's a function of lower bad loans, better management, better capital management in the company, taking costs out. And so these things don't just happen in a year, they've been happening for a couple of years. The other company which is of interest to us has been BHP. And typically these are high capital expenditure companies. BHP's very been disciplined around that. It's a very low cost producer of iron ore. It has a progressive dividend policy, and it's been able to grow its earnings from around about 112 cents a share to about 121 cents a share. And both Suncorp and BHP are paying fully franked dividends, again, which is very attractive for the strategy.
How has the MLC IncomeBuilder performed over the second quarter and the past 12 months?
Well, over the quarter, which is very short term, the portfolio has delivered about a 0.6% positive return. Relative to the broad market, the ASX 200, the market was down around about 0.6%. Over the last year, we've seen the IncomeBuilder portfolio return around about 8.6%, while the broader market has returned around about 5.6%. So we've beaten the market, but the really important thing is that we've actually grown our distributions, and those distributions are generated from dividends. So our distributions actually increased from the fund by around about 3.5%. And that's consistent with where we've seen profits growing and the profits that are flowing through to dividends and obviously out to our investors. And we also run with quite a high level of franking in those distributions. So again, whether you're an accumulator or a retiree, you're getting that tax benefit as well.
And what kind of income stream has the fund delivered in the 19 years since it began?
Well, over the 19 years, things have been a little bit different to the recent past, but around about 8% has been the distribution growth. So that's a pretty solid growth, and that's using the same consistent process that which we're now currently using, has been the one which has been applied over those 19 years.
Peter Sumner, thank you for your update from MLC IncomeBuilder.
Thanks very much.